Yeah.
That's interesting.
I appreciate it.
That shit happens all the time.
Those are our secrets, yeah.
And we're off.
We're off.
Oh, I got to start that thing there, eh? Ryan, Scott, how's it going?
Excellent. How about
Pretty good.
yourself?
Thank
I'm good. DGR Concrete Forming Inc.
Yeah. You enjoying the show yet, or?
I saw a glimpse of it. I had a chance in between during our little lunch break.
I feel like.
How's the show?
Show's pretty good. It's excellent, actually.
You guys come every year, huh?
Every year.
You guys are concrete guys.
Try to show as much as we can, right?
Did you go to World?
We didn't this year. We have quite a few times in
When was
the
the
past.
last time you guys went to World?
I want to say right before COVID.
Oh, so it's been a while still,
19,
eh?
Yeah.
How is the concrete biz?
Concrete biz is good.
Is
I
it?
mean, it is what it always is, right?
What does that exactly mean?
I mean that it's an industry that not too many people want to get into and do the work.
Because it's hard work,
It's
right?
hard work,
Come on,
man.
man. It's hard
Damn.
work. It's dirty work. It's hard work. It's uncomfortable work. It's working in winter. It's working in
Absolutely.
weather. It's working in the
Absolutely.
hot summer.
Yeah.
Concrete's drying too fast. Concrete's not drying fast enough.
You can't pretty much win. We get to go into a hole full of mud and start building from there. I feel like everybody else, once that part's over with, then they got a chance to actually work on a construction site.
I need you guys to give me some scientific calculations here regarding the weight of your work boots before you enter a job site on a muddy day, and then the weight of those work boots at the halfway point of the day, and then at the weight of those boots after you scrape them on the curbside.
I'll tell you that there's even another factor. It's like, at what point do your regular work boots get so heavy that you need to switch to the rubber boots, which get even heavier?
Because they just stick. What is with that? Someone should come up with a can of like mud stickless kind of like
Scotch guard for mud.
Teflon Scotch guard for rubber boots or contract. Yeah,
that would be amazing.
Someone needs to invent it.
They would be rich.
DGR nonstick boot.
I'm telling you right now.
Don't
give me any ideas.
That's a great idea.
I got so much spare time on my hands that I'm looking to.
How is everybody at DGR land? Everybody's good?
I can't complain.
Great.
I think everybody's in good spirits. We still like each other. That's a good thing.
The crew growing?
Crew's not growing too much. No.
Staying steady?
Staying steady.
Cautious because we don't know what's going to happen, or?
I feel like it's about finding the right fit for the team.
That's a good one.
Yeah. It's not so much about just hiring people. It's about finding somebody that can fit into our team.
Your company culture.
Yeah.
So I got Ryan here, I got Scott here, and DGR concreteforming.com at DGR Concrete Forming. Whatever happened to DGR lifting? The IG page. Did that ever disappear or no?
I don't know if it's been deleted yet, but I could definitely say it's not getting much action.
And there's water in these cans.
Absolutely. But no, DGR lifting, it still exists. I mean,
because you guys still do it, but you never really fed
we
it.
can help people. Yeah, we can help people when it comes to lifting, stuff like that. But for the most part, as we kind of grew a little bit, we got busier with our own truck. So
what's your official title?
I don't know. That's a good question. I hate titles, so I haven't put one on myself or anything like that.
When you're filling out a government form and it says occupation, what do you write down?
I write owner.
Owner.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's the R.
Yeah, I'm one of the partners, but it's not even the R. It's the G.
That's true. It's G.
It's the last name.
R belongs to George.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it.
Rodriguez.
Scott, what's your official title?
ICF foreman.
ICF foreman. How's the ICF business?
It's great.
Yeah.
Well, not
Great.
today, but
yeah. Today we're standing at the concrete show.
No, but obviously you guys have done more ICF going on.
Yeah.
oh yeah, for sure.
Has ICF surpassed traditional?
No.
No. Traditional still kind of leading
It's a
the charge.
staple.
Reason why?
We are trying to figure that out ourselves. It's
Why do you guys-
we could brainstorm. I mean, I got lots of ideas.
Clients
Scott,
don't
you
want to
should-
pay for the ICF?
No, I don't think it's that.
It's not that?
No, I think it
I
runs
just
deeper.
think the conventional side of it's more well known.
It's more well known, and I think it comes to architects, engineers, and builders.
Spec in it.
So the architects from speccing it, the builders from being familiar with really wanting to take it on, because okay, yeah, you get a thermal mass wall and it's super efficient, but there's a lot more to that. I mean, you're literally drywalling to your block. You don't need any framing inside. I mean, okay, bulkheads and the odd bump out here and there, but it's a super efficient product. There's a lot of advantages that I don't think are being sold properly.
Do you like it more than traditional? Or you're not allowed to say?
By the sounds of it, he does. Definitely.
I'm assuming you like it more than traditional.
It's all I've ever done.
Really?
Yeah.
Since day one?
Day one.
How long you been in construction?
since I was 17. So
You started in concrete?
No,
Where did you start?
building homes.
Building homes. When did you switch over to concrete?
So I guess my history is
How
we
long
would
you been
do
with DGR?
3 years.
Okay, all right, sorry, I didn't interrupt. But so your history, so builder, and then you got into...
We've always pushed the ICF since I was starting out. The contractor that I worked for did ICF, so I've always been able to provide that to any customer that I worked for.
How did you guys find each other? Did you find DGR or did DGR find you?
They found me through an ICF manufacturer,
Yeah.
Got
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Which one? You guys want to share? Who?
Nudura.
Nudura.
Fast one.
Yeah.
Is it like the hazelnut spread?
Not compromising on us.
I'm joking.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
No.
Calm down, Nudura. Calm down.
Yeah, no, to be
No.
honest with you, we took on an ICF job knowing that we didn't have all the answers to an ICF job. So,
Oh, and that's how you came in.
so
Oh,
it was,
so you're starting. Okay.
yeah,
all right,
prior
now I
to,
get
we
it.
actually took on Scott as a subcontractor. So Scott was subcontracting for us, so on and so forth. And organically, it kind of turned into, it's like, hey, let's just partner up and offer this service in-house, and away we go.
Here's a question. Do you think in Canada, ICF will surpass traditional at some point in history?
Up north, it already has.
Really?
I think
For sure.
I think so.
Everybody's go-to is up north is ICF. So you think traditional concrete forming going on here down in the core and around the GTA area?
There's a lot of obstacles, and I feel like when it starts leaning in that direction, that styrofoam is going to mysteriously become cheaper. to
It's
these
already
people.
competitive, isn't it?
It
Enough
is.
right
It
now?
is. But at the same time, it's like to make the same product, to have like insulated both sides concrete wall. If we did that traditional, I think the costs almost surpass
It does.
ICF.
No, it does.
And actually applying that insulation and doing that whole part of it.
That's
right?
the thing about it. It does. So that's why it kind of makes sense. That's why it's not a cost thing, right? But I guess it's the architects and the engineers are speccing it. Is that
Yeah.
why?
Yeah. I mean, typically it is.
Or not speccing it, I mean.
Not specking it's the reason that it's a little bit.
But with today's building codes, you have to still add that insulation on the exterior.
You don't need it on the
Not
exterior.
always.
On the foundation wall?
Foundation wall doesn't need exterior insulation.
I
You
thought
need
there
a
was
certain level of insulation on the foundation wall, but a lot of people are doing, if you buy a production home, they got the pink insulation that comes about halfway down the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought new codes were coming in where you had to put at least bare minimum
They
two,
might be coming in.
I
2
believe.
inches. I don't know if it's maybe I read somewhere else, but I thought because I actually did a rental where the building inspector was like noting, he goes, "No, you have to add 2 inches of XPS outside there on that concrete wall now." Because it's all new code stuff, and I was just like, "What are you talking about?"
No, we do a ton of traditional
And you don't have to do
foundations.
that
There's
now.
no styrofoam.
But I mean, are we assuming that's coming anyway? Like that,
I feel like, yeah. I mean,
they're going to be asking.
Codes
for
are
it.
changing. It's going to come.
They're not changing fast enough. That's why I was thinking. Like the question is, do you think ICF is going to surpass? And I honestly think it will surpass.
Yes.
So
When it-
honestly, like it's a battle for the ICF manufacturers to get all those codes passed. Code
Why-
will change, and then it's a lot of cost for them to go through the book again and revamp it so it reads properly.
Why can't we get all the ICF companies on the same page? Or that doesn't make any sense.
competition.
So you want to just stay competitive?
No, I don't think. I'm not saying so much as us as an installer, but as far as manufacturers go, it's like any trade, any business. I mean, your competition, in a lot of ways, people tend to not collaborate with their competition. When it's like, even if it's for the greater good of everybody, which makes perfect sense, it's like, hey, if we all stick together on this, we could change the industry.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Is that if every company was on the same page, then you actually change the industry a lot faster.
And even talking to people here today, I forget exactly what it was called. Call it the Canadian ICF.
Oh, there's an association.
There's an association of some
There's a
sort.
manufacturers association.
So there is standards.
ICF
They all
and they-
work on the same kind of. Yeah, you know better than I do.
They try to implement the code book. They try and change that code book to make it more prevalent to go with ICF.
Yeah.
Fire codes, blast,
Yeah.
insurance, all are factors into why to choose ICF.
What's the downside of ICF other than DIY jokers start bucket in a pickup truck business and thinking they can do it, what's the downside of ICF? There is no downside.
I don't see a downside.
No, I don't see
in
a
the finished
downside.
product of ICF.
No, I
there's
don't.
zero downsides.
Other than the people that get into the industry are not well trained enough to handle a job. Then you get into this poor job that's been created, which becomes a mess.
Essentially what we talked about the last time. Right?
Yeah.
Like that's, yeah. Everybody, there's not as much overhead in starting an ICF installation company as there is in a traditional forming company, right? So it kind of, all the overhead weeds out the, I don't know how to put it politely, right? But like the in-betweens, right? The people that aren't experienced enough or have the resources to get the job done right.
The a-holes. I mean, like the ones that just think that they can make a quick buck because they can charge
Absolutely.
a certain price, right?
Yeah.
Are certain people charging a premium for ICF? Is that the reason why too, or no?
It's so hard to say what other guys are pricing ICF out as.
But are you guys going in ICF and traditional? Because I thought during the whole pandemic years, things were they're becoming comparable, right?
They were getting a lot closer because lumber cost, right?
Lumber, that's why.
The lumber costs were getting out of control. So it's like you could literally do your main floor in ICF and have a thermal mass concrete wall as your framing versus a stud wall with, whatever type of insulation you want to put in it.
Well, yeah, you're doing your zip system on the outside, spray foaming it.
Yeah, the gap was closing, but it's like then lumber prices started coming back down. Everything kind of settled out, and there's a disparity there. But that's what I was talking to before. Is the disparity doesn't include all the other advantages of ICF.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Framing, building 2x4 walls. We did a year or two ago. We did a basement, ICF for a client. Somebody I know pretty well is building the house for them, and they went, and it wasn't the builder. So the builder that's currently there, I know. Prior to that, it was a homeowner building for themselves.
Okay.
When the framer came in, they include framing the basement in their package. Nobody even blinked an eye at it, and they did it.
Okay.
So when the person that I know took over, they finally gave up as a homeowner building their house, got a builder. He comes downstairs. He's like, "Why did you guys frame the basement? You could have just drywalled right to the block."
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but there's no room for the electrical, and we want plugs everywhere and this and that. It's like, no, actually, that's all figured out already. If anybody just paid one crumb of attention, you would have lost. Or you would have eliminated all these costs, and it would have closed that gap even more, right? But a lot of people, I think it just comes down to education. The more we talk about ICF,
right?
The more we talk about ICF, I think the more it's going to fly, because it's really hard to find the disadvantages.
There aren't any. I wouldn't say there's any.
None.
My question becomes the concrete forming companies out there that don't want to adapt this new technology, that they're just a stickler, old school mentality where it's like, no, man, concrete forming, I'm boards. That's it. I don't give a shit. That's what I'm going to do. I mean, you're walking around the show here, you're seeing a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
Everyone's got it.
There'll always be a place for conventional concrete forming. I don't think society can get away from that.
No, and I think that it'll turn into like, okay, your foundation costs a little bit less to make up the gap. I mean, once the gap closes and it becomes more efficient to do ICF, well, then the prices will come down on the traditional side that there's room to put on the insulation.
It's not even the hard cost at the beginning, though. It's the savings at the back end, isn't it? Isn't that what it's attached to? The amount of work that you have to do on traditional forming and framing and setting up insulation costs more than it does for ICF.
Absolutely.
That's a fact, right?
Yeah.
So then you're saving already from the get-go, from the construction process.
This is my point, is that there's not enough education on the back end of it. It's like...
But that's what the manufacturers are they need to all get along. Everybody's got to get along.
And I think they do, but when a manufacturer is talking about it, it sounds like a sales pitch. Versus
that's
like
the unfortunate
like a third party.
I agree.
Your architect starts preaching to you about, this is a way more efficient way to build. It's going to last longer. It's your odds of ever getting mold and like all the advantages of ICF that, yes, the manufacturers preach this stuff left, right, and center, but it comes across as a pitch versus construction knowledge.
If you guys were to build your own house, ICF or traditional? It's going to be ICF for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to get
100%.
crucified for it, but yeah, no, absolutely, ICF.
You're going to say ICF
Yeah,
still too?
and
Really?
I would go ICF
So you've
right up
seen
to the roof.
Really, yeah?
Yeah.
What's the majority of DGR crew? Like, is it mostly 50-50 or
We're
70-30?
yeah, we're a predominant. I'd say 70-30. We're
In
a
favor of traditional.
We're a
Traditional.
traditional company. I mean, that's
70
where we started. We're a
70-30,
traditional
eh?
company. Yeah. But at the back end of it, it's like, hey, I mean, guys are slowly learning the ICF side, and we could. I mean, when it comes to opinions on what you're going to build your own house out of and this and that, I think it's just a big spread. I mean, people don't put that much thought into it.
It's a good idea to gauge things, because then now you would only do the best for your own personal dwelling, right?
So what I would do is ICF foundation, but SIP panel main floor.
So whatever above grade
Yeah.
SIP panels. Okay.
How
Why?
come? Yeah.
Why not
There-
go ICF right to roof?
Concrete's expensive.
It would be more expensive than framing, even
It's
today's
not-
dollar.
Well, SIP panel is the plywood on the outside with the foam in the middle.
Oh,
and then
okay.
plywood on the inside. So you still have continuous foam all the way through, and the panels are whatever height you want them.
But that's what we're asking for Bidlinco right now. Don't we have to have R12 now on the exterior walls on the above grade?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is that whole zip system. Right?
Yeah.
No, SIP panels.
SIP. Not zip.
No,
SIP.
but what they're doing
Two different things.
outside. Yeah, no, 100%. But the zip panels is like what they're doing to try to kind of get that exterior insulation factor, right? Like there's an R value to the zip system, or no? Maybe I'm.
Oh, no, there is.
To get the foam on the outside of your wall, what they're trying to do is bridge that the conductive of each stud. So as the cold hits the stud, it
The
lets
thermal-
not
in.
going to bridge through.
the
Yeah.
thermal, the thermal bridging
so
going on.
providing that foam on the outside helps protect
Now-
those studs from the thermal break.
Are you Scott, are you limited on specifications on cladding?
With
You can't go brick, right? Or can you go brick?
you can go brick
You'd have to set up the ledger on the
with,
bottom, though.
with the SIP panel.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that would be all in the foundation work.
So even in the ICF setup, you'd have to do it with the offset, so then you can have the brick going on there,
Correct.
right? At that point. So it just takes a little bit of work, right? But
Absolutely.
I agree with you. I rather go. Listen, I'm a huge I believe in double wall construction. Take care of the one wall for your building
Exterior,
envelope needs,
yep.
and then take care of your inner wall for your mechanical needs. That's how you do not break the thermal, right?
Yep.
And then you actually have a home that's tight, and then you have your mechanical system that takes care of everything. Then you have an efficient home. I'm a huge fan of building a better home instead of spending more money on machinery that
Makes
feeds
it-
that home,
yeah, no, I
warm or
100%
cold
agree
or
with
whatever it is. I'd rather build the home better, because that home will always stand the test of time.
Mm-hmm.
You're always going to replace mechanical.
I'll tell you, sometimes we run into like a question in the foundation stage, whether it has to do with like a water stop in the footing or something like this. And as soon as the client's like, we're going to have to consult our building envelope engineer, it's like, now you're talking my language, right? There's somebody that's literally
building
just
envelope engineer. I like that.
literally just looking at that building envelope, heat transfer, cold loss, all that stuff. It's a science.
What's a water stop?
Water stop is, there's a bunch of different ones, but it's essentially something that goes in or on your footing to make kind of a water barrier between the joint of your footing and your foundation wall
So where your concrete stops
from the footing.
and begins again, even in a wall.
It would be
so
a
if
cold
you couldn't
joint.
pour, say, like an entire foundation all at once, you'd put a water stop where you'd stop your pour.
You
and
could
then-
use it
and then
vertically
begin
or
again.
horizontally, right? So typically, the most common use for it is horizontally. So the biggest joint that you got right off the beginning of your construction is a footing to a foundation wall.
Yes.
So you pour your footing.
That's your biggest crack point.
Yeah, it's a cold joint. There's
Yeah.
no real seal there. I think the minimum code on that is putting in a key.
Yeah.
So it's an
Well, the key's
indent
not
in the
even
concrete.
designed for the water stop. It's just
No.
designed for wall movement.
Absolutely.
Technically.
Exactly.
Okay.
So that being said, it's like we put in the water stop. So there's ones that set in place in the concrete. It's essentially a plastic material, pretty rigid. You inset it in your concrete pourer on the footing. And then when you pour your walls, it encases around it. So you have like a PVC or plastic barrier in that gap, right? In that joint that's continuous. It's set in the first concrete, it's set in the second concrete, so there's essentially no moisture can get through that gap.
I like that. Makes sense.
It is, yeah. It actually makes perfect sense.
It makes a lot of sense.
Why isn't it on every one, right?
Why isn't only specific engineers or architects?
Whether it's spec'd or not, yeah.
Really? So
yeah.
why isn't that part of the code then? It makes
Why?
sense to me.
Yeah. I think if I was doing my own house, I would have that.
What's interesting? I haven't been brushing up on my concrete lingo lately. What's some terminology that I may not know? Some new lingo that the new cool kids are using on the concrete side of things.
The word "cool" and kids.
I'm just saying you must have some sayings or some phrases or something.
Well,
like that.
no, we just taught you about water
Like
stuff.
sus?
What's sus?
Sus. It's like suspect.
Yeah, suspicious.
Suspicious. Okay.
Sus.
Okay. All right.
I mean, that's new kid lingo.
So it'd
I don't
be
know
like,
if it relates to
that-
But
that
I want
corner-
new kid construction lingo.
I don't
Yeah,
have any words
no,
for that. No,
We're
2x4
all
still
pretty-
called a 2x4?
it is.
Or you mean a piece
Let's
of
put it
stick?
this way: half of our crew
Stud.
is 55 plus, so we can't get away with new
Because they
lingo.
won't be able to know. They can't
They'd
read
be
the
like,
subtitles.
Yeah, what are you talking about? Yeah, are you guys talking a different language? It's like we need to stick to
suspect.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a difference between like street lingo and then I want to know what construction concrete lingo.
Construction concrete
What's
lingo. It's
construction
been the
concrete?
same thing for the last 40
A
years.
form is a form?
A form's a form.
A shovel is a shovel?
Absolutely. Water stop is water stop. Waterproofing is waterproofing. No, you know what? It confuses it, right?
I'm telling you, outside of the whole Portuguese thing, there's got to be different ways of saying certain things.
I was going to say, if you want to speak in a different language,
It's Portuguese.
There's all kinds of different lingo that relates to concrete. but-
Portuguese and Italian.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
trying to
tell
think
me
of
about
what
it.
else you would like. What it's a form is still a form. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
Chimette. That's as simple as that.
Nobody
Mud.
gets
Mud.
Yeah.
People call it mud.
I
I've
feel
heard
like
it
that's
called
an
mud.
American thing, though.
That's an American.
Yeah.
I don't think
Americans
Canadians
call
call
it mud.
concrete mud.
No.
No. We call it concrete. Because I
Concrete.
think they like that word concrete.
Or
Concrete versus
Crete.
yeah versus
No,
some
concrete.
people like to call it cement. Like that's a
That's
ingredient.
That's
It's
an American.
ingredient.
That's an American.
Yeah,
thing.
exactly.
They always say cement.
Yeah.
You always see that cement.
Cement, mud.
If you're
Yeah,
European,
I
it's
hear
cement.
that. I mean,
mud, no. But then you're offending the tile guys because now it's mud dogs and
right?
Yeah.
that starts getting into
Yeah,
the all
stepping on
plastering.
toes,
Yeah,
right?
it's just whatever.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. That's all. I don't know what else you guys want to talk about before we get close to wrapping it
Well,
up.
I
appreciate
feel like
you bringing
we've only,
the water.
Yeah,
I'm really
we've only
thirsty.
talked about ICF, and it's like,
Oh, you want to talk about traditional
yeah,
farming?
man. There's still like huge, great things to do with traditional.
You guys still using wheelbarrows, or is everything being
No,
pumped?
Pumps.
It's all pumps, eh?
Pumps, yeah.
So I saw a shirt earlier today. It said "Pumping ain't easy."
Pumping ain't easy.
Yeah, I thought that was a great shirt.
Yeah, because it's like that's the most illogical thing I've ever heard. It's like, no, that's the actual easiest way to do it. Why would they be calling it? It ain't
Did you guys?
easy?
Has DGR bought a motorized wheelbarrow yet?
No,
You guys won't need that, eh?
no.
You
I
feel bad for
like
the guy who invented that?
the fleet. No. I think there's a place for it. Like, you know, people that
For
are
DIYers.
wheelbarrowing- yeah,
DIYers.
Not even. You know,
Landscapers.
landscapers.
Landscape.
Yeah,
Yeah,
landscapers.
okay,
they
landscapers,
do
sure.
a lot more wheelbarrowing.
Yeah.
In the foundation game, you're fortunate is there's nothing on site except for maybe a giant hole in your way from reaching something in
Did
the
you
backyard.
guys do a job recently where I swear that boom, that pump boom, had
Was
to be
laid
like
out flat?
200. Yeah, it had to be like
Yeah.
200 feet.
That
or
was a
something.
monster house.
Like
yeah.
how big was
Yeah.
that house?
That house was I couldn't tell you the square footage off the top of my head.
But how far was the reach, man?
Let's put it that way. That was a 42 meter boom.
150.
Yeah, and it was laid out flat, with the line laid out flat, and still trying to pump with enough force to kind of make it to the back corner of the house.
And it just made it to the
Just
back?
made it. I mean, don't get me wrong. We could have got a bigger pump, but that's another part of it, right? You show up to a site. I mean, yeah, pull a measuring tape from one corner to another, but you don't exactly know where the pump operator is going to feel comfortable setting up his pump. Hey, we thought you were going to come to here, but he's like, I don't, that's too close to the banks. I want to set up a little bit further back. It's like, oh, that 10 feet made a difference, actually. And
you guys got to quick on the draw.
yeah,
Figure that out.
And there's always the option. You can add lines to a pump, like once the line's laid down like that, but it's all work.
What do you do? Like grab a piece of ABS and just.
No, they most pump trucks roll with some sections of line, rubber line, that couple together with the
How
other
far
lines.
can you go?
You can go pretty far.
Answer me this question. when I'm on the roadways, whether it's a highway or a streetway, right? And I see some dried up concrete there on the asphalt. What happened?
I'm telling you. So these trucks, again, if this becomes into a transport question, right? If you were shipping,
It wasn't us.
if you were shipping freaking potatoes,
You'd see potatoes on the roadway.
you'd want to get as many potatoes into that truck as possible, right? So it comes to filling up the truck. The difference between any other really type of box truck or anything that transports goods and a cement truck is that there's a gaping hole right at the top of it that doesn't close. So
Why don't
if
they
you're
build a little
parked,
guillotine or
yeah,
something?
no, there is. I want to say Eimer.
Okay.
Eimer makes
They have
a
one?
drum mixer
Okay.
that has a door that closes on it to close that hole into the
Smart.
drum.
I
You'd
think that's
right?
smart.
And come to say that you said that, it's like I was coming home one night.
And there's rumble strips.
I was getting off the highway and I come up to the off ramp and it's like brake lights, but it's a green light. I couldn't figure out what was going on. And I get closer and there's a pile of concrete. We're not talking like they spilled some concrete on the floor. It was like
You're just
3-4
missing forms.
cubic meters of concrete.
It was just missing forms.
It was a pile, probably like 16 inches deep and like the whole width of a lane.
Wow.
It was a disaster. So I looked at it. I knew the guys were coming home behind me, so I even called them. It's like, hey, when you get off the off-ramp, have an eye. There's a giant concrete spill there. And you hear giant concrete spill, you don't really register it because you never see them that big. This was massive. So it's like later that night, getting on social media, yep, OPP, sure enough. Oh, yeah, set up over here, massive concrete spill. They had to bring in machinery and all this stuff to clean it up.
Roadway guys to clean it up with shovels?
Not shovels. It was machines amount of concrete. It wasn't.
It was machines?
Yeah, they had to bring in machines.
Maybe
and
they had to
stuff.
use the motorized wheelbarrows at that point.
No.
huh?
Yeah. What if it hardened
bigger
and
machines.
that no one could get at it?
Then you have to bring hammers in.
Concrete's
You guys,
unforgiving.
have you guys, these shows are funny because I've never seen such a clean concrete truck here. Like Armor All
Tell me
tire
about it,
clean.
eh?
Like I was looking at the tires and I was like, I've never seen.
There's a part of me that wants to just give a shout out right now because
Do it. Give a shout out.
I mean, Premier right now, Premier Concrete Pumps. They're literally, they blow me away every time they show up. It's like,
Clean?
this truck, has it even been on site before? Oh yeah, it's 2 years old. It's like, what?
So they just maintain it?
How in the hell
Just
did you
maintain
get it so
On site,
clean?
they're constantly scrubbing.
What, do they have a little concrete truck car wash, that kind of thing?
I'll tell you right now. You see their operators and
Buckets of Armor All?
RBS as well.
Buckets of
RBS is
Armor
the
All.
same way.
Yeah,
RBS is
they're
our concrete
clean.
supplier.
They're clean.
Their trucks are clean, but it's not like this mystery thing of how their trucks end up clean. If their guys are standing around on site,
They clean.
they take out a rag, you know what I mean? Clean up the chrome, make it shine a little bit. It's little bits and pieces. You can't let a truck get destroyed
It
and then try to
goes-
make it look
it
good.
goes
It
far.
needs to be just, you get it new and that little bit of maintenance the whole way through and it keeps it amazing.
Am I the only one that gets kind of like, I cringe when I see like rusted
Old stuff, and I get it.
Concrete
buddy.
trucks
I get
and-
it. It's a crazy industry.
like it's just like you almost put it out the patch or like it's just,
I
like,
get you. I feel
You wonder
the same
how
way.
it gets down the hill or gets to you sometimes.
yeah. Does it bother you guys? Like it bothers me when I see that.
I mean, it bothers me, but I can see why. Again, it's a chaotic industry.
They're trying to get as
go,
much
go,
value
go.
out of it.
Yeah,
I get it.
exactly.
I
You got to
understand.
push.
But-
Nobody's paying you for a cleaner truck, right? If you're a concrete ready mix supplier,
the
pump
concrete
supplier,
inside there still costs the same if it's inside a beautiful barrel, or if it's inside a rusty barrel.
Literally. They could literally, back to the wheelbarrows, show up in a power wheelbarrow. As long as the concrete's coming at the right speed, that's all
it.
that
That's all
matters,
that
right?
matters,
So
so.
it's a real tell for the people that keep the clean gear and the newer stuff and keep things looking proper. That's extra effort. That's profit that they're spending on maintaining this stuff and making it look the way it does. So I have a
That's
lot of
nice of
respect
them.
for anybody that
That's
that
doing
keeps
that for their
stuff.
business.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you guys are the same thing, man. It's like you got new Hinos now. How many Hinos? You
Yeah,
got
we're
on?
actually Isuzus now.
Isuzus now.
Yeah.
What happened? Hinos weren't there.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know the full story between Isuzu and Hino, but I feel like they're merging together or something along
Is it
those
Izun
lines.
or is Izu? Like I don't understand.
Izu,
I don't know.
Izu.
I just
mean,
short term it, Call it
And-
the zoo.
Yeah.
Zoo.
Yeah. Yeah,
See,
it's
the
their
lingo,
zoos.
the concrete
There
lingo.
you go. There's a lingo for
We're
you.
bringing the animals to site.
Well, because it makes sense because you got a cab, you could fit what, 5 or 6?
7.
7.
It's 7 seat belts.
Do you want 7 concrete forming guys in the same
Absolutely
box?
not.
Can you fit
Especially
7
at the end of the
concrete forming
day.
guys in the same box? No. Hey, don't get me wrong. It's a great sales pitch. You got 7 seat belts. You could legitimately fit 7 people in there.
I don't want to be in a box with 7 guys,
No,
man. I don't
it-
want to be 7.
They would have to be very small gentlemen to fit into this.
Have
job.
you seen the concrete forming business and who's working in it? They're not tiny
No,
boys,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Typically, it's not your
Big
small
boys.
guys.
They're big boys,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
With big lunch boxes and
Lunch
big coffees
boxes.
and
7 people
big
in a
gaseous
truck.
states.
Oh, man. I'll tell
in
you.
the morning or the evening or the night. You know what I mean?
Yep, absolutely.
Things expand during the course of the
No,
day,
I'll tell
right?
you,
And things have to
110%.
expel during the course of the day.
And those guys work hard.
Of course.
Boys work hard. They work up a sweat.
Is there like one air freshener on the mirror?
Air freshener is the window.
Windows
Yeah.
down. And hopefully it's nice out.
Comes back to what we were just talking about maintaining trucks, right?
It's true.
It ain't
You gotta
free.
maintain the inside.
It ain't free,
100%.
but I mean, something as simple as even like, perfect scenario once a week. But
A little
if you
bit of
could
love.
get at it, if you could get at it even once a month, once every 2 months,
Once a month is too long.
I know it gets a little gross in a
Receipts
month.
and fast food and Uber boxes and all kinds of stuff pile up.
The mud. Remember
The
talking
mud
about the
puts
mud
up.
on the bottom of your boots?
That's what
Guess
I'm
where it all ends up?
on the floor mat.
The heat starts pumping, everything dries. You move your foot like 3 inches, and all of a sudden it's like everything drops.
But you guys wouldn't do another trade at all in a heartbeat. You wouldn't change it.
Change.
Trade.
Concrete. I wouldn't personally.
No?
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of trades I do like.
You want to get into
but
tiling or something? Drywalling? No.
I think framing would be my pick, or welding. Those are my 2 kind of like. I feel like we could make it as framers. I mean, concrete forming guys have a lot of knowledge. We use skill saws. We cut lumber. We do. It's rough. It's rough. But if you're on the good side of the rough,
Are you hinting that DGR is going framing? DGR Concrete Forming framing?
I wouldn't go
Ink?
there just yet.
Concrete
But,
framing
hey,
forming?
would never box anything in as an impossibility.
Kind of makes
Everything's
sense because then
possible.
you guys already lay down the steel, lay down the frame.
I'll tell you right now, there is people out there that are
Talking.
selling it as a package.
Oh,
It's I wouldn't say it's all in house, but there is people that
they're
offer
offering it.
forming and framing and excavation. So they'll get you a structure built. So that's, I mean, it's a good package, right?
Why not get into the roofing at that point? Then you close
But
it
in my opinion, those 3 things, okay, they're hard jobs to execute,
yeah.
but overall, the complication factor isn't crazy. I mean, as when you talk to somebody like yourself that deals with interior finishes and all the different finishes that come, and having some knowledge on all of these different finishes, it's like pouring concrete, we're framing out of wood, it's
It's the same wheelhouse.
easy.
So you might as
It's
well take
easy
care of it.
if you understand the business. Obviously, to some people that's not easy, but to somebody that really gets the construction process, is yeah.
How come, Marco, I haven't seen too much Portuguese going on in Marco's page there. What's going on?
Yeah, Marco.
What's happening? You're
Marco,
not traveling?
he's been busy like crazy.
That's what it is. He hasn't been doing much, eh?
Yeah, Marco was supposed to be here today, but
He couldn't make it?
yeah.
The job site?
Yeah.
Gentlemen, I think we're going to wrap it up now. Thank you
That's
so much for
amazing.
making this stop, and you guys are going to continue looking at all the new shiny toys.
Oh, new shiny toys.
Anything jump out? Anything jump out at the show today? So anything? Nothing nice?
I end up
I had a
talking
class,
to all
so I
my.
haven't been able to walk around a whole lot.
Yeah, you did a class today.
Oh, you guys did a class.
Yeah,
Scott
a little
did.
seminar, a little ICF seminar.
Okay, all right. What'd you learn?
What's new in ICF?
What's new in ICF? It was
So what's new in
changing
ICF?
building codes, trying to get ICF pushing forward into the building code, being recognized as a better building product.
It's a good.
It's the right idea. Yeah,
It's
it's definitely the right idea.
Listen, I agree with ICF. I totally agree with it. At DGRConcreteForming.com. No, I put the 2 together. At DGR Concrete Forming on IG, and then find them on their website, www.dgrconcreteforming.com.
Thank you, Manny.
Say hi to the boys. Say
Always
hi to
a
everybody.
pleasure.
I got to
Will
stop by
do.
the shop, and trust me, I won't steal any of your tools.
No,
They're not blue.
Yeah.
Oh, no, some of them are blue.
Some of them are blue.
Some of them are blue.
It's
they're
one of
most-
our colors.
Yeah, some of them are blue. Some of them are blue.
Cheers,
Gentlemen.
Manny.
Nice
Thank
to
you,
meet
sir.
Scott. Thank you,
Thank
Ryan.
you.
Always a
Yeah.
pleasure. Thank you so
Always
much
a
for the
pleasure.
water beverage. I really
Yeah.